Dhyanamoolam Gurumurti Pujamoolam Gurupadam Mantramoolam Guruvakyam Mokshamoolam Guru Kripa. Om Shri Guruve Namaha. Hari Om Tat Sat. So we'll continue with third eye. Even though it is called eye, but there's no physical dimension of eye. A lot of times we have seen either the statue or the picture of the Shiva or some of the gods and goddesses. They have been put a third eye here for us to understand that the Agna Chakra is right behind. This is Agna Chakra. Agna Chakra is behind that. We also studied that the two things cannot happen simultaneously. That means you cannot see with these regular eyes, what we call charma chakshu, the external world, and at the same time, simultaneously, you be aware of consciousness, Atma, Brahman, whatever word you use. And later on, I may even differ with myself, but for the time being, understand that these two things cannot be looked at simultaneously. That means if we take once again the example of the golden necklace, if you start seeing the beautiful pattern or the style of the necklace and lovely shining, maybe diamond in it and whatnot, then we will never go to the fundamental existence. And what I meant by fundamental existence is that we will not be thinking of the element gold. And we all have learned by now that if you take the gold out of the chain, nothing remains. Once again, this is such an important point. If you take the gold out of the chain, nothing remains. Howsoever beautiful shape it may have, and while studying Shivoham and Mandukya Upanishad, we had studied these three words, Nama, Rupa, Vyavhara. That means Nama, the name. Second word is Rupa, the form, and Vyavhara, the characteristic. That means if you look at the chain, the name says chain or the necklace, that's the name. What is the rupa? It is worn around your neck. You don't wear the necklace in your hand. So the rupa that takes the shape, and it may have some flowers and leaves and so many patterns, pearls in it. So that is rupa. And vyavhara, the characteristic. Characteristic means with which you want to make your neck beautiful. As a result, you try to enhance your beauty. That's the rupa. Now, please pay attention. This is so important. These three are associated with chain or the necklace. But if you take the gold out of it, would you call it a chain? Would you call it rupa, meaning can you put what you were calling chain, now the gold is out, can you put around your neck? Everybody is confused. No, because there is nothing, so to say. If you take the gold out of the chain, chain doesn't remain. And vyavhara, that nothingness, can it beautify your neck? No. That application, now is the time coming up to all of us to adapt to. Meaning, if you have understood the gold, would you be as much taking care of the style of the necklace? Would you be taking as much care of whether it is glittering or not? Does it have too much shine or not? And so far as we are paying attention to all these features, nama rupa vyavhara, then we cannot be called to be spiritual student. As soon as you go to a temple and you worship the idol, I'm not saying it is bad for initial purpose. For dharana purpose, it is good, but you keep on worshipping that. Again, look at those three words, nama, rupa, vyavhara. What is the nam? We can call it a Ram or Krishna or Christ. Rupa, that's the shape. Our mind has conceived that Rama look like this, Krishna look like this, and Christ looks like this. None of us have seen it. It's our mental creation. And what is the vyavhara? What is the characteristic? That it will take us to heaven. Or it will take care of our problem. But mind you, these are all our mental creation. So far as that thing is there, something beyond a name, beyond a form, and beyond characteristic, we will not see. And Vedanta is guiding us in that direction. Mind you, again and again, I would say that it is not, do not condemn it. And right after a few minutes, I will tell you the purpose of it also. So just to differentiate, what is the function of the third eye? What is third eye in the first place? And for that, we were giving the example in a hospital. The emergency generator will not come in until the electricity goes off. Understand that point? So that means unless and until you stop paying attention to nama, rupa, vyavhara, meaning all the objects, what you call brilliant, intelligent, most beautiful, expert, all those adjectives will fade away. Whether you're rich or poor, whether you're hungry or not, nothing matters because they all pertain to the body. and you are naming those. So as soon as you think that now I am realized because I saw Krishna in my dream, that's your mental picture. So far as you saw Krishna or Christ or Mama, whosoever you name it, you understand that that is not it. And why it is not it? Last time we saw what we saw, the old lady and young lady picture. Let me share it with you again. Okay, the old man and old lady both. But you see, if you right now just look at this old man, but the old man, this is the eyes, old man's eye, this is his nose. But if you do not look at all this part, then you see here is a gentleman with a Mexican type of hat. These are his mustache. He's playing a guitar, and what looked like originally the chin of an old man now is the right leg. This is his left leg. But if you start looking at this as a man, then you cannot see the old man. And if you see this as an old man, you cannot see the young person. And here is the old man's ear. But if you see from a gate, a lady is coming out. And over here, if you see the old woman, similar to his hat, here a lady has a hat. She is holding on to the hat with both this hand, and this hand is the nose for the older woman, and her left leg is the chin. So you can look either or, whereby, okay, let me take you to one more slide. This is a young woman and old woman. This is the ear of the earring of the young girl. This is her forehead. This is her nose. This is chin, and this is the chin. And if you look at the old woman, then this is the whole thing is the nose. These are her lips. Okay? So to say, you can look either or. Now, let me not go too much into the detail. So to say, try not to have steps between both, meaning that means in the worldly affair and in the in your spirit, along your spiritual path. And I will also show you as to how to do that little later. And we will be learning these three words today. One who knows is the knower. Whatever he knows is the knowledge. And whatever is known is known. Sanskrit word is gyeya, jnana, or gyata. And so far as knowledge is concerned, you can use your regular eyes, okay? But so far as the knowing is concerned, and I will explain in a minute, that is the function of the third eye. Continuously knowing. Let me take you to one more slide if I have. Now, I will just read it and will explain in a minute. We have heard many times that silence is not to talk, but not having anything to talk. Wise people, they may not talk at all. And you see, for example, if said Tolstoy and some Sufi fakir would have met, we think that they will discuss very high-level philosophy. They can sit for 2-3 hours and they may not utter a word. And why so? We'll see it in a minute. Silence is not an absence of experience. Any experience that you see or feel, we feel like talking about. When you are awake and you are right now listening to this, our class today, that is, you are experiencing something. You go outside, you start driving the car, you see the road, you see the steering of the car, you can see your partner, you can see your food. So you're collecting all these experiences. And so are you collecting while you are asleep in the dream. You are collecting all these experiences. So those are the experiences of something. But when you say you are fast asleep, meaning you have no dream and you are not awake, so at that time, what is really happening? It is the absence of everything that you are experiencing it. Understand these two words. Here is the absence of experience. So silence is not an absence of experience. There is experience, but that experience of absence of everything. And that part we will be studying and banging upon it so much so that some point in time you will never feel that I am realized. Or if you know Upanishad by heart, doesn't mean you are realized. It is following Om and also underlying Om. Meaning, if there would not have been silence, do you think any sound could have been created? Meaning, if you understand your vocal cord and you are not speaking anything, then the vocal cord are at its silence. And when that vibrates, it creates the sound like u, and ma. So silence is this word underlying Om. And silence is also following Om, meaning after Om is chanted, A-U-M, and you don't say a word, what happens? It just dissolves into silence. And you are the witness of it. So it is a witness consciousness that is what you are. We'll talk about it and we'll understand this last few words. They're very critical. So when you say Om, A-U-M, try to enjoy the silence. Meaning, just witness it. Forget the word enjoyment. You just observe that now I'm not saying anything. I don't have second and third Om also to be chanted. But then what am I doing? You have to do nothing. So when you don't do anything, but not having anything to talk, when you're not doing anything, when you're not witnessing anything, when you're not hearing, when you're not listening, you're not seeing, what is there to talk about? And that silence is Mandukya Upanishad is talking about. Let me come out of this slide. I hope there is not much. Okay. And I know I must have confused you enough. Okay. But if you recall, I had asked you to do some homework. Or you forgot, it was 2 weeks ago. Any one of you even remembers whether you did it or not, it's a different story. You can unmute yourself. Everybody, please do that. Unmute. And don't let me hear any other music.
So yeah. Hari Om, Swamiji.
Hari Om.
Yeah, you did. And but we also give some of us give some of our experiences the second week. But I think you had introduced the concept of third eye at that time. So
okay.
Yeah.
Anybody else?
Third eye was a soul, right? That's what we talked about.
Bhavna, I'm sorry to say, okay? And don't feel insulted. I'm even telling myself. As soon as you see the word soul, meaning you name the soul, that means you know what is soul. So you know what is the function of soul, and you know where it will be used. Are you with me? Try to understand how much we have been brainwashed. So that, oh, what is it? Yeah, I'm Atma. What? So let's learn to go beyond, try to understand. Okay.
Excuse me, I had conversation and we talked about say that it would be the time like when I start seeing myself, doing my activities, and you had very, clearly mentioned that it is not true. And I would like to have a little explanation about that. I had been contemplating, and I ended up coming to that point that it is like, me, when I start seeing myself, like, out there, doing my, chores and stuff like that. And I just observe it. And I when I realized that, that is what I thought that it could be.
Okay. That again, we'll talk about it. Anybody else?
Swamiji, I have a question regarding the gold and the necklace. Is it fair to say that the shape of the necklace is Vikshepa?
It, of course, yes.
It is? Okay.
And do you really mean it? Mind you, when you say it is a vikshepa, vikshepa means agitation. Vikshepa is something that takes you away from your primary focus. Focus is also not the right word, primary awareness.
Yes, yes.
Okay? So as soon as you see the shaper, that means you will never think of gold.
Mm-hmm.
That means you are looking at either the old woman or the young woman. Got it?
Got it.
One of the things you were mentioning, what causes vikshepa, what causes a distraction. So mind starts thinking about different things and where the thoughts get triggered, that one. So how the source of the thoughts can be completely nullified. Yeah.
How simple. How to earn $1 billion? Oh, go to the bank and get billion. No, that's nothing like it. Okay. So that point needs to be thought of. We studied Mandukya, but we just studied the guideline. We have not experimented. We have studied Ishavasya Upanishad. But in Ishavasya Upanishad, we have heard how often Isha Avasya Idam Sarvam. God parades in all this. What do you mean by in all this? Only in the temple? And what is all these? And if God parades in you and prevails in you and it prevails in Bhavna, your relationship would not have been there, because what is relation? You and her are same. And is that ever the witnessing experience? Tell me. Never. And so your whole life, your whole attitude, your whole experiencing will change.
Right.
Because that's what you see everywhere. And everywhere means in you as well. And you are there because of that. And that is Sat. So that need to be looked at. You treat yourself as chain. And the gold is what Bhavna was talking about, Atma, or the spirit, consciousness, whatever you call it. These are still the name we use it, but you really cannot identify anything.
Yeah.
So to say, you ask yourself, why are you? I'm not saying who are you, why are you? And if you don't understand this question, as soon as in the worldly language, if you die, then will anybody will say you are? Vijay, think. As soon as Swamiji is dead, would you call this is Swamiji? Let's talk about Mandukya. So what is that with which, or that I am? What is that with which the chain exists? Then the chain can be called chain because it has a shape, it has a function, and it has characteristic. It beautifies the neck. Now, what is the functionality of Swamiji? I am awake, so you guys can call me Swamiji. And it is that I am with which I can speak or I can talk to you. So it is that of Swamiji that need to be contemplated upon, not this physical body, not what I'm talking about. And this can only and only be possible if you do not look at the shape of the necklace and you look, remind yourself, be aware of what is that with which the chain exists. What is that with which Swamiji exists? And as soon as your awareness goes on the gold, on the real Swamiji, then you will have nothing to complain, nothing to love me also. At that time, you will never say that Swamiji was teaching third eye so beautifully. No, Third eye got taught by with the body of Sanaji.
It's prana.
You can call it prana and still not. Okay? But who said it? Who taught?
Me.
Okay. Yes, prana is that with which it get consciousness get represented. Prana is subtle body, part of the subtle body. So, and I'm glad that you talked about.
Yeah.
So what you really need to be doing is now understand, and all of you would appreciate the purpose of pranayama. And what is the purpose of pranayama? To go beyond breathing. Breathing is the effect. You go to the cause of it. Necklace is the effect. Go to the cause of it, which is gold. So every single moment in the life, you start witnessing, start observing. You will not also get the answer. Let me tell you ahead of time. Don't look for gold, because that's what you are. But as soon as you will start looking for the gold, what will happen? As soon as you start looking for that beautiful young woman, old woman goes away. Let me repeat what I'm saying. As soon as you start looking at that beautiful young girl, the old woman goes away. Once the old woman goes away, all the problem associated with the old woman go away. As soon as this body goes away of Sanaji, then your problem of like and dislike of me goes away, because Sanaji is not there. Okay? Confused enough, huh, Vijay? So, all our problems, whether married, unmarried, children, no children, job, no job, okay, I get headache and I have glasses and my heart is paining and I have cholesterol. You don't have cholesterol, your body has the cholesterol. And as soon as you find out that your body has a cholesterol and you don't, would you kindly?
What's his name? And you need to meet that one who's cleaning your throat. Would you please mute yourself?
Thank you. So
Thank you.
now understand the point I'm making is, as soon as you finding out that you are not the body, you have a body. So the problems associated with the body, whether it can be husband-wife social problem, whether it can be financial problem, whether it can be like or dislike problem, all those problems will go away. And I even call liking to be a problem too. Because today is liking, tomorrow will be disliking. That doesn't mean that you die. You keep the necklace the way it is. These are the golden words, understand. You keep the necklace where it is. You may even wear it. But understand with full awareness that had there not been gold, the necklace does not exist. Had there not been Brahman or the consciousness, I would not be existing. So this application, and it will not happen overnight, dear friend. Do not condemn yourself too. So in order for your awareness, this is the hint, beautiful hint. In order for your awareness to see the gold, you have to have mind put at rest. As soon as you have your mind, that means you are looking at the old woman. Okay? As soon as you have your mind open. So what we call meditation, what we call silence, is slowly we are taking away from all this chanting, and we just want to observe the silence. So let your mind reach to no mind state. And that is the best sadhana one can have. So as soon as you reach to the state of not doing anything, and what is that? That is the experience of absence of activities. And that is your experience. And at that time only and only, you will come to know that even though I'm wearing necklace, even though I have a body, but truly I'm gold, truly I'm spirit, truly I'm consciousness. Are you folks with me? No, not yet, huh? That's okay.
I've got a question for you.
Uh-oh.
I was talking, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you well. Go ahead.
I was thinking as you were talking that to me it appears that the necklace is Vikshepa
Yes, it is.
and the gold is the absence of disturbance, the absence of Vikshepa.
Correct.
And the question is, how do you get to the absence of Vikshepa? Through meditation?
Exactly.
Through Yog Nidra?
All of
Because
those.
sometimes I experience when I've told you this before, when I do Yog Nidra sometimes, once in a while, I'll just be, I'm not thinking, my mind is not working, nothing's happening, but I'm not asleep because I know when you say, get up now and do this, I'm aware, but I don't know what that is that I'm experiencing because my mind is absent.
As soon as you say, I don't know what I'm experiencing,
My mind is off.
That is the experience of absence of all those experiences.
Then the question is, and that's the goal, right?
Yeah, but don't set the goal, otherwise your mind will go toward the goal.
I'm sorry, what was that?
Don't think of goal, otherwise your mind will be thinking of goal.
Right, exactly. Yeah, it's an object.
That's
right.
Beautiful.
But the question for me now is, how do you maintain that experience of absence? Because you can't, when you come back into the world, you come back into Vikshepa.
I understand. But have you even in this life of so many years, how often did you try that? To put the mind to relative silence. We invite all those Vikshepa.
Yes.
If the mind is not, if mind has nothing to do, oh, but let me see. Naina, what was on the news today? All right, so that was not needed, but you invited. But even if you go out, say for example, and you start seeing or experiencing the gold in all those ornaments, whether it may be a butterfly, maybe wind, maybe a tree, maybe a flower, maybe your breath, okay? So if that awareness exists, slowly and slowly, you will notice it later on. People will start calling you crazy. And Naina may be walking also across you, and she says, hey, Chris, I even waved my hand, but you didn't even acknowledge me. Are you dreaming or what? Okay? That means what? You were not looking at the old lady, you were looking at the young lady. I don't mean Naina to be old lady, okay?
Mhm.
So, so anything that you are looking at, any object per se. So keep this in mind, be aware of the old woman and young woman, and start at least allowing a few minutes of your daily life. Look for that silence. Chant Om and then observe. Don't say anything at least. And for a couple of years, it may not happen anything. But whether you could see the silence or not, but you will not see the Vikshepa.
Mhm.
You will not be aiding the Vikshepa. Vikshepa, agitations, disturbance, something which is not silence. So, dear friends, I don't want to hold you up too long, but if you have one or two more questions, I will take, and then we proceed, and we'll be learning the exact technique. And throughout, Chris, I'm so glad you are applying what you have learned. All what we are learning in yoga, whether you do asana, you do pranayam, you do prayer, or do yoga nidra, purpose is to see the gold in the chain. And when I say see means not with your eyes, with your awareness. Okay.
So Sanaji, we can easily say that all the places of the worships are Vikshepa because they are leading you to something which is not true.
Sweetheart, I love you, but don't utter this word to anybody else.
No, people know me by that.
No, I mean.
No, I know what you're saying, but go ahead, sir.
At the same time, these places also have its place, meaning very seldom you will find that these are the places you go, you feel more agitated, you feel little calmer and serene, okay? So that comes, I understand you may be an exception in this, and you and I, we have talked enough, but in general, I'm saying, okay? So
what I'm saying, not only the places of for religion or anything else, but you cannot find, I don't think you can see it or feel it or find it anywhere except maybe in a corner of a someplace just breathing, because the breathing is the sign that tells you I'm with you. And that constant reminder, because that's my source of going to whenever I am not happy, I am distressed, I am doubting everything or a lot of things. That breath is not an automatic machine that works, that this comes and goes. It's your connection to that source. Because once that's gone, you are done. Or you go back to him or it or whatever it is. But for me, the best place to find it, feel it, whatever, is my breath.
Mm-hmm. But at the same time, again, understand, you say that you feel disturbed, you feel vikshepa. Who is the one who is feeling it? Your mind.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's beside the point. Exactly, of course. But
this is not beside the point. You may feel agitated, and Dina may say, what is there that you got agitated? Chris said that you are crazy, but when you are not, why bother? If Naina feels this way, Naina will not be agitated, but you may be agitated because you felt Chris should not have told you that.
Yeah, I understand exactly what you're saying, but my point is having those viksheppas, however it happens to you, as you said, it may be me in those places, to bring that to a logic of who you are and what is this all about is my breath. That's all I want to say.
Okay. Yes, breath will be an indicator. Okay. And you can observe the breath. That time means what happens when you're observing the breath, your mind is
Quieting the mind.
either. You're training your mind that don't look at what Chris told you to. You're just observing the mind. You cannot observe.
But when I'm breathing, my mind is absent.
Mhm.
My
When you
mind
watch
is
the-
absent in those periods that brings me the comfort and the bliss that I cannot find it anywhere else except with my breath. So in that time, I think my mind is silent. I don't know.
I will,
Sunaji,
yes.
quick question. So once you know what vikshep is, once you recognize it, then there is no vikshep after that.
If you genuinely observe it.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. Then you have to, once you realize gold, then Chris's example, when you come back to ornament, then is ornament, you're back into vikshep. Well, no, once you know that there is vikshep, there is no vikshep. Once you realize the vikshep, then there.
Beautiful, God bless you. But what happens is, let me give you a crude example. If an alcoholic person knows that when I will drink alcohol, I will be losing myself. But still, because of his habit, he goes to it. We all know what vikshep does to us.
Agree. We all go back to vikshepa. No, Chris's question was, how do we stay in the gold state forever? Well, you can't. The difference is that you experience the gold state. Now you're back into vikshepa, but there are no viksheps anymore because you realize what you are in is vikshep.
That's a beautiful statement. And for this, what you just now said and what Chris has wanted to know, and Maheen and all of us want to know, is if you recall the example of the white marble and the black marble and the 3 jars. Do you recall that example? Yeah. Okay, if you don't recall, then every time you witness and you became aware of the vikshepa, okay, on that day in the empty jar put 1 marble, white marble. And despite the fact that knowing this is a vikshepa, that means you know that by listening to the TV news or watching a soap opera is going to disturb your mind, but still your mind loves to listen. On that day, put black marble in it, in the jar. And so keep on doing it. So initially what will happen, there will be a lot of black marbles, but as the time go by and as you become aware of, then you will start finding more number of white marble than the black marble. So the whole life is sadhana, Mukesh.
Correct.
Okay, whole life is sadhana. So just keep on doing, keep on putting in your effort.
Okay, so I have one more question to make the matter more complicated or confusing to the example that you gave, golden ornament. If we can cover this next time. I know we are past the time. in a gold and an ornament, who is the goldsmith? Or what is the goldsmith?
I know you will say so, and I'm glad somebody said it.
Who's the
Okay.
creator? Is that what he's saying? Who's the creator? The goldsmith is the creator, right?
Yeah, just to make it more
And you're making an
confusing.
object out of it. You're saying, who is? It's an object. It's not
no,
an
but I
object.
said
There's no
what?
object.
I said, what is or who is? I want to know. That's all. Somebody or something that is aware of
Your mind wants to
gold
know.
and
I'm the same way.
oh boy. Okay.
We all want to treat the gold as an object, and
Right.
we want to know.
Correct.
And so that means, and I'm laughing with you. Listen, I'm laughing with you. That means you did not hear a word of what I talked to them. And that is, remember the first three words I told you? What are the Nam Rupa Vyavhara?
Vyavhar, right?
That's it. You want to know the Vyavhara. You want to know what is the shape of it. You want to treat it as an object so that you want to know. How could you know yourself? And that's
Yeah. No, you're right, but I'm thinking more from sansar or creation, and you know,
sansar and sadhana.
Jagat
Can you please?
or Jagat.
Are you done? Sorry.
Yeah,
Good.
I'm done.
Can you please, somebody explains what is today? Mikami, Dukam?
Michami Dukadam. That's right.
What is that?
It is a Jain statement. What it literally means is, I beg your pardon, knowingly or non-knowingly, physically or mentally, emotionally or otherwise. If I have hurt you, I beg your pardon. That's what it means. Michami Dukadam. So, Michami Dukadam to everybody. Okay?
Thank you.
Yeah. Very good question, Mahin. God bless you, my dear. So with this, let's observe a minute of silence and let's try to learn more and more of it. Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purna Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Shanti. 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 Hari Om. Tat Sat.
Hariom.